Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's Toolbox guest, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, once again, these are all companies. They're tremendous companies, really, they can really help an athletic director with their daily routine, managing and organizing their program. So I want you to take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Toolbox Extra guest, then go and visit these sponsors, because I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just love the Huddle platform. Go to huddle.com, join the 100 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We want to say thanks to our friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let their team turn you into a social media marketing guru. Gipper makes marketing easy for any athletic department, and your school is doing great stuff that should be shared with your community. Go to Gipper.com, find out all the great things they can do to help you with branding and promotion. That's Gipper.com. We want to say thanks to Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day. Scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Their eligibility and clearance platform alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com for more information, and don't forget to mention the podcast. We want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and Beacon Creative. Now, Vital Signs has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative takes it to a whole new level. It's a content creation service that's going to create compelling narratives about your kids, your coaches, your history, and then you can post them on social media. You don't have to lift a finger. I want you to email John Townsend. You can do that at John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Beacon Creative and Wall of Fame. It's a winning team that you need to join. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Booster Hub, the #1 Booster Club software program. Booster Hub is going to take care of sponsorship payments, meal fees, concession sales. It all goes through their secure system. Volunteer sign up, volunteer changes. Nothing falls through the cracks. Communication, online spiritware sales, all of these things allow your boosters to spend more time helping you out as fans. And isn't that what you want? Give your boosters the platform they deserve. Give them the platform they need. Go to boosterhub.com. And don't forget to mention the podcast. We want to thank Hometown. Hometown continues to be a leader with digital ticketing, with fee-free fundraising. Their list just goes on and on. Whether you're an athletic director, a principal, even a coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. You're going to find it all at hometown.com. Let's say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, and it was a great experience. And while he and thousands of others were earning their degrees, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. And we want to thank our good friends at athleticsurveys.com. Go to Athletic Surveys and let them create a custom survey that's going to let you take the pulse of your student athletes, your coaches, and your parents. That's athleticsurveys.com. Check them out today. And as always, don't forget to mention you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to Ohio today, And we're going to be visiting with somebody I like to call a friend of the show, Kyle Sasala. If you've listened to the podcast, that name should ring a bell. Kyle was a guest, I'm going to say maybe 2 years ago. He was that year our number one most downloaded episode. I'm sure that was because of the quality of the information he shared. I'm also sure that one of his, I think I'm fair in saying this, one of his mentors, the great Dr. Dave Kelly from the University of Cincinnati, probably promoted the heck out of it on social media. But if you missed Kyle's episode, go back and listen to it. It's in our Spotify archives. We're glad that he's back with us today. He is a certified athletic administrator, and he's the director of athletics at St. Vincent St. Mary High School, and that's in the great state of Ohio. So, Kyle Sasala, welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, last time I was on the podcast, I was a registered athletic administrator. So now it's nice to say I'm a certified athletic administrator and taking the steps ahead of, going ahead. So thanks for having me on, and yeah, thanks for reaching out to me and bringing me back on.
And we'll probably reach out again maybe in the fall, do a fall preview. Soon you'll have that extra initial, that CMAA. I know you're working on that. You and I were talking before we started to record, and you mentioned that you were working with your own student athlete advisory committee. Some people call them SALT teams, but I think the idea of getting our student leaders involved from the different sports, I mean,
Mhm.
it continues to just be a great topic of discussion. They've been around for a long time, but I'm sure there's a number of listeners that are saying, boy, I wish I could start one. I just don't know how. So, can you take our listeners through the process that you went through to organize, implement, and now work with your student athlete leadership team?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a few years in the making. When I first got here, this is my fourth year now here at St. V. When I got here, I wanted to involve the student athlete leaders in some type, some way, some form. And I know I wanted to do either a SALT or a SAC or a student athlete advisory committee, some type of committee to get that involvement with the student athletes, but also selfishly to get me in front of all of our student athlete leaders, because again, I'm not in the classroom, so I can't see them necessarily as much as a teacher does on a day-to-day basis. So really to get that touch point, but really it started when I first started here at St. V, just getting the idea and going to the other different conferences, the AD conferences, the national and the state level conferences. And I saw a lot of other ADs that were starting these groups and just getting a lot of great feedback and really teaching a lot of leadership and accountability and communication and things that I wanted to bring here to St. V. So it started about 3 years ago, and kind of the process that I kind of could have took was I actually hired my new assistant athletic director. His name is I'll give him a little shout out. He's actually a Cincinnati grad too as well. Thomas Matthew, who was actually working at the University of Cincinnati in the student athlete advisory services department. So he had some expertise in this, and it kind of just took us to the next level. So it kind of got us over the hump. So when he came here, I was already had it ready to go, and I was ready, wanted to push it out, and then he kind of gave us that little oomph, and because he had that experience at the collegiate level and brought it down to the high school level. So really, again, more of the process was we had interviews for the student athletes. We sent out a nice little template of what the advisory committee entailed. We hosted, I believe, 45 or almost 50 interviews, which is amazing. We opened it up to sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And we just asked them, hey, why do you want to be a part of this group? Why do you believe you're a leader in your sport? Walk us through some tough, difficult times and maybe how you reacted. Just kind of giving them some situational questions as well, and just feeling it out and seeing how they react as a leader. And then what we did too as well was we had some input from the coaches too. Once we made that next step of the interview and kind of narrowed it down to our small list, we reached out to the coaches and said, hey, talk a little bit about this individual. Why, yes, why is this person good? Why is this person maybe not so hot? And walk us through that. And then they from there we moved on, and we actually just hosted our sixth or seventh meeting. So this is a brand new group for us this year, but this is our seventh meeting, and we meet bi-weekly. We were meeting once a month, but we thought the meetings were going too long. And we decided to break it up, bi-weekly. One week we would have a leadership aspect, some type of activity for the student athlete leaders, and then the other week we were actually working on guest speakers. So we actually had Travis Doherty from Champions 101, who we work with pretty closely here at St. V, come in and do a nice little talk with the kids and did some activities. And actually, this Friday, we have a sports psychologist, mental coach that's going to come in and talk about the mental side and the all that fun stuff that we don't talk about sometimes of sports. So, and the cool thing is too is we opened it up to the student athletes and said, hey, what do you want to do? Who do you want to hear from? What do you want to accomplish out of this group? Because I know what I want to, but I want you to have some input on this as well. So we're everything that we're bringing to this SAC committee is a lot of it, most of it's coming from these student athlete leaders and what they want to accomplish. Um, so again, it's a new group for us. It's always evolving, and we're always trying to do new and different things and tailor it to the student athletes that are in this group as well, because we're doing everything for them. So it's a fun group. It's the fun more of a fun part of my job too, where we get to get in front of the kids and talk to them and get and break down those barriers and really get to know them on a deeper level than just hey, great three or great game type of deal. You get to really know who these student athletes are. So. But yeah, it's an awesome group. I'm excited to keep, continue to have it grow, and we plan on doing this every single year, and hopefully making a huge impact on these student athletes.
Again, I appreciate you sharing the story, the journey, so our listeners can kind of see. There's no one,
Mm.
path to putting it all together. In the initial stages, which I guess you kind of are, if we look at it, macro, but was the group, did you present to the group of students, hey, this is what we'd like to do, or this is a goal, or was it, what do you see
Mhm.
this group being able to do, or was it a combination of the two?
Yeah, it was a combination. Our first meeting, we went over the expectations. So, what is this group going to expect? What do you want? Well, this is what we, myself and Thomas want out of this group. We want, what do you want out of this group? It's not just, myself and Thomas up here speaking to you guys and making it another class for you. We want some type of engagement with this. We want you to eventually lead these meetings as well. So one of the things too that we did is we have admin as we call them or board members. So we have a chair, a vice chair, and a board secretary that help us lead these meetings as well. And every other week in between the meetings, we meet with our SAC admin members and talk about, hey, what do you want to accomplish in this next meeting? What type of speakers are you looking for this next meeting? Even though they're in that group, we're giving them even more leadership responsibilities and giving them more ownership of the group because again they don't want to just hear me and Thomas talk all day long. They want to hear their peers talk and hear other guest speakers too. So but it was a combination and I think it's ever evolving too. And every single day every single meeting the kids they break their walls down a little bit and they get more comfortable and they talk more and they want to talk about this or that and it's just a trial and error and just to see how they want the committee to be too.
Now, I remember at our school up in Tallahassee, my assistant athletic director actually, kind of ran the show. I was there, but she did a great job.
Mhm.
The group of students that we had became just so very important in messaging, getting the word out. We got a big rivalry game coming up, or we just have a regular game
Yeah.
coming up, but we still want to support the team, support the student athletes. Um, do you see that as a role for your student athlete team? And if so, have they done anything in that direction to help promote events on campus?
Yeah, no, 100%. We want that to be our motto. One of the things that we are trying to do actively, but mainly more focus on the fall for next year is to have some type of buddy system. I know a lot of colleges do that where the baseball team will go and buddy up with the girls tennis program and they will go to theirs games or a select few games. So trying to get those leaders to gather their friends and their classmates and their teammates to go to the other sports too as well because obviously we care about football and basketball, but we care about all the sports too. We want our girls tennis and our bowling and our soccers to feel that love and that support too as well, just as much as the maybe the bigger sports, as you could say. So one of the things we are doing is that buddy system here now, if not eventually going to be, blossom it into something even bigger, come next year too. We're only trying to do so much. We're trying to, not bite off too much in the first year of our SAC committee. So I think we're learning now, Thomas and I, and what to focus on for potentially next year. But that's one of our ideas.
Oh no, great. I'm curious to see how that all plays
Yeah.
out. I'm sure it's going to go great. Um, you're at St. Vincent St. Mary. I don't know, but I'm guessing, it's probably a smaller enrollment. My school was an independent school in Tallahassee. We had about 400 kids in the high school, um, and a lot of kids were doing a lot of things, academics, athletics, etc. And 100 years ago, when I was in high school, you had maybe, I don't know, half of the student body that might not be involved in sports. One reason there weren't that as many teams back then. And so you had a built-in group of, student supporters. Whereas now in this day and age, and I'm guessing you might have this same experience, a lot of the kids that used to be fans, they're on their own team. They're going to practices. They've got games. And so trying to get seats or students in the seats, it's a challenge. Do you experience that at St. Vincent St. Mary? And have you found a partial remedy to getting kids to come to the games?
Yeah. Yeah, we excuse me, we deal with the same issue here. We have 75% of our student athletes play at least one sport, and then we have on top of that multi-sport athletes too that play two sports, three sports, and believe it or not, there's some four-sport athletes too, which I'm not even sure how they do it. But yeah, we deal with that, and with us being a private school too, we pull from different regions, so we pull from different cities and different schools too as well. So it's hard to get everybody together at the same point, same time. But another thing that hinders us, that hurts us too, is sometimes the travel, the AAU, the club volleyballs. Those pull away from the school sports too, pull away from them coming to other events too, because they're off at practice or they're off at their weekend games in Georgia or wherever they're at. So we see that pretty evident here. I think creating the SAC committee, the SAC leadership group, I think is a step in the right direction to help us with that, to get our student leaders out there in the community as well as in the classrooms and in the other sports to get more kids to come to their games. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but I don't know if it's necessarily the end all be all, because there's so much going on in these kids' lives now, and they're playing sports, they're going to school, they have boyfriends, they have girlfriends, they're doing all the things that they need to do outside of school too, that they're getting pulled in 85 million directions. So if you have another person on here that has the end all be all, I'd love to know. But we're itching away and narrowing away at that issue as we speak with hopefully the SAC group.
Yeah, that would be I'm trying to think of magic potion, magic bullet, to figure that out. I remember having discussions with parents that they were younger than me, but they would say, how come the students don't come to the games anymore? I remember when I was a kid, and they're thinking, when were you a kid? Back in the 90s? Okay, so that's your age group. You and I were kicking around NIL, and I know Ohio is currently between the state association, the AD association, the NIL hot potatoes getting debated quite a bit. I already shared with you, and I think our listeners have heard. They know where I stand on all things NIL. What's going on in Ohio? Has it impacted your student athletes at all? And where do you maybe think it's going?
Yeah. Yeah, so NIL is a thing here now in Ohio. I know we are one of the last few states to elect to have NIL. But believe it or not, I have, me personally, I have not seen much impact. The OHSAA, the Ohio High School Athletic Association, our state governing body, obviously, they did some extensive research, and we're working on this for the past couple of years because we knew it was going to come down the road eventually. So they planned ahead of time, and were ready to go the years prior. I think my first year when I was here at St. V, they were already talking about NIL, and they just now had it pushed through, but haven't seen it much. I know some other school districts maybe have seen it. I might be against the norm where I'm actually for NIL, believe it or not, but I think there's some parameters that need to be placed around it. I think there needs to be rules, and I think there needs to be guidelines. And I think we need to learn from the collegiate model where it looks like it's the wild, wild west, right?
Yeah.
And I think the OHSA has done a great job of putting in those procedures and those expectations and rules and guidelines. The only thing I'm curious about, or I'm hesitant about, or I guess I'm worried about, is how is that going to impact, recruiting? Is it going to, we're a private school, so is another school across the way, or this that going to be, bidding at the highest bidder for this student athlete. Once it starts doing that, which eventually I would imagine maybe it turns into that, that's where I would say maybe NIL is not where it needs to be. Again, we don't want it to be the collegiate model. We want there to be rules and guidelines. So I'm for it as long as there are rules and guidelines and it doesn't impact the recruiting. And I know that's a lot to say, but and I'm not sure that's really going to happen. But that's the stance that I have on NIL. So.
Yeah, again, I shared with you, I was a teacher, a coach, and an AD for a total of 41 years. And some of that was public, some of that was private schools. There were a few years at the college level. But in all that time, in 41 years, I had a total of 5 Division I recruits, the
Oh.
full boat, full ride. One of those was football. 2 of them were women track and field athletes that we had. So in 41 years, you can do the math. That's a very, very low percentage. And my opinion is that NIL, even though it wasn't available back then, it's probably going to impact a lower percentage than those D1 kids, just because the NIL money, much of it, not all of it, is going to the very elite of those scholarship kids. Now, there's stories of. Here's the other thing I'll go ahead and share with our listeners. We had an athletic director on, a county AD from Georgia. Georgia, pretty good, recruiting state for all sports. He's responsible as a county AD for something like 14,000 student athletes,
Wow.
and in his area, they have to report to the state of Georgia, the state association, how many NIL deals. There was something like 14,
Mm.
out of those thousands of athletes, and the most money that a single student was getting in the great state of Georgia, it was something like $1,000, and it was from his grandma and grandpa's dairy that were sponsoring him. He wasn't even a starter on the team. So again, I'm not against kids making money. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just don't think it's going to happen that much. Does the possibility exist for an unscrupulous coach, AD, booster to use that as a recruiting tool, especially to, let's say schools like you and I coach at, private schools? Yeah, absolutely. But it was always there. How did SMU get the death penalty all those years ago? They were giving money and cars to Eric Dickerson and Craig James, probably a few other guys up front. It's no different than, I think Ohio State still pays the most NIL money. I could be wrong. Now, I cheer for the Oregon Ducks. They've got the best owner in sports, Phil Knight. So it's there, and everybody's doing it. It's just legal now at the college level.
Yeah. No, you hit it on the head. Yeah, hit it on the head.
Okay. Getting back to your school. Okay. I know we asked you to share this on your original interview, but talking about St. Vincent St. Mary, what are some of the things that you feel make it a great school for kids, for student athletes? What's so special about your school?
Yeah. The family aspect. It's not just a place to go to school. It's a community. We have amazing people, amazing staff members, amazing parents. We have a great admin group too here as well. That's very supportive of athletics, of band, of all of our different programs and academics here at St. V. But I would say the family aspect and just the people. The people are amazing. I think that's your culture is the people that you have and how you go about taking care of your people. And we have some amazing coaches too. I think our coaches don't get enough love sometimes, and they're huge role models, and these student athletes look up to them almost sometimes more than maybe their mom and dad. Sometimes it seems like I'm a dad now too, so I see it, and I had some coaches that had that amazing impact on me, and that I still talk to this day, and I know that's how our coaches are as well. But no, it's an amazing community. We're growing. In student athletes and students, and we're getting the culture right. We've had little bit of turnover about 5 years ago, and now we're in a good stable place where we can have this be home for everybody. So the family aspect is huge here.
Yeah, no, again, I can echo that from, the private school I was at. It's not right, wrong, good or bad, but it's different. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
Kyle, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out, find out more about your school, or just pick your brain a little bit, and listeners, you got a great young resource here. What's the best way our listeners can connect with Kyle Sasala?
Email or phone, either or. I'm pretty responsive, pretty quick to get back. I'm always apt to help people that are learning. I was in their spot at one point, and I was always calling Dr. Dave Kelly and all my mentors over there at the University of Cincinnati, and they were a big reason why I'm sitting behind this desk and even talking to you in my role. So. Call me, email me, text, whatever may be easiest. I'm always open to assisting. I even go back and speak to some of Dr. Kelly's classes too, as well, to keep the mojo going and to assist too. And I even have hopefully this spring a few interns from the University of Cincinnati that are going to be helping me too. So I'm always open to assisting and understanding that I was in their shoes at one point, and I want to do whatever I can to get them to where I'm at.
Oh, no, absolutely. Appreciate you sharing all that.
Sure.
Well, Kyle, thanks again for coming back on the podcast. All the best as we continue with 2026 and moving from winter into spring sports. And like I said, we're definitely going to bring you back on the podcast.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Enjoy that warm weather. I know it's snowing outside right now up here in Northeast Ohio, so enjoy that.
It's somebody's got to live in Florida, and we're going to make that sacrifice. For our listeners, we do appreciate you, and just remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Toolbox Extra just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again on the next Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, of course, we want to give another shout out to our great sponsors. Let's say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Start promoting your school like a Division I social media person. Gipper.com. Home Campus. It's a platform you're going to use every day for scheduling, for rosters, athletic eligibility. Go to homecampus.com. Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Check them out. Booster Hub, it's the #1 booster club software program. Go to boosterhub.com. Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Make sure you check them out. Huddle, I used it as a football coach. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Athletic surveys, if you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your students, your coaches, your parents, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com to get started. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. And Hometown, whether it's online ticketing, fee-free fundraising, website construction, and a whole lot more, check out hometown.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.